Okay, so this video is going to be quick because I don't have a lot of time. And you notice I'm not recording on my phone because I just want to be able to show you, which you can do it on the iPad too. So this is Radio AU Radio Unit AU. I think that's how it goes. Beep Street. And I use it all the time. And one of the things I like to do when it comes to sampling is to cut chords out of songs. And so what I mean by that, well, you take a sample and you bring the sample in, and the way I like to do it is I typically will pick songs like piano songs, jazz songs, bossa nova, whatever you choose. I like the bossa nova jazz, Brazil. I like the whispering solo piano is a lot easier, and anything that's mostly instrumental becomes a little bit easier to do it. And what you do is, let me get out of here, so I did two parts. This is my intro. So let me show you. Sorry about that. So here's an intro, and then I chop it up. Right? Find the chord within the song. Just like that. Resample. Resampling that will make sure you don't have that pop and click at the beginning of it. Okay, and then put those on a mute group together. So in the SP is pretty much Shift 8. Well, you got to come out of here first, Shift 8, and then put these three on a mute group. So that can be like the intro. And then what I did was a separate section here. I chopped up. I'm going to mute this phone just because otherwise, you know what, I don't really need you to worry about the phone right now because that's not the most important part. You're sampling in from the phone, obviously, just to get your sound, right? So after you found, and you need to sample in a section, a decent section of a song. So don't just sample, I mean, at least get yourself 20 seconds of a song and work within that. You don't need the whole thing because that could be, it's challenging in here if you start doing that, but find pieces of songs that work together, or if you're going to stay within the same song, just capture as much as you can and then make copies and split it in sections that you want it. Same thing you would do in a DAW if you chopped it up, right? Okay, so here is my sections I chopped up. So this is the song, it runs this way, right? So you'll see, like on this one, I need to fix it. There's that tail end, we don't want that. Okay, you can leave the sections too if it helps you. So it's sort of the same thing. So then instead of using it just straight that way, I'll mix it up and I might use like, notice the gate is off. And I just started messing with this, but the beat sync. So if your beat is at, I don't know what this beat tempo was. I didn't check it, right? So I'm pulling it in. It's just piano. So I'm going to sync it to whatever the beat I want, tempo I want the beat to be. So here's some drums, vinyl samples I got for well, I didn't get them for free. These are Lifted Noise vinyl samples. Actually, I bought these, but they were like $7. But there's some free ones out there too you can get if you can't afford that too. So don't feel like you got to get this. And by the way, you can do this in Koala. It's the same thing, in my opinion. Set up mute groups in Koala to do the same thing for your piano pieces. So you're just picking chords. That's all you're doing. You can play chords in if you want to try it, but this is just to give you a vibe off of somebody else's stuff, right? So You can mix it up however you want to play it. This one's pretty simple. So then you play that and you come up with a pattern. Oh wait, I was gonna play you this one, hold on. Then you can adjust it and adjust notes if you need to. If you feel like something's off, then you hit record, hit that pad, and then go into the step sequencer. And that's your moment to adjust if you want to adjust a note. All right, I left it the way it is. So I added some hats in there. And then I ended up taking that out and only putting it in one just because I thought it was a little much to give it some variation so it wouldn't be so much. I just put it on one. So here it is. Then I added in a little kick snare pattern, simple. So I think I showed this in a previous video. A trick to push this, to nudge the snare forward is pretty much this. Watch, I'll copy this over here. I'm just doing this so you can see it. Hit record, go into TREC, which is the remain button. I'm on a 4-bar count. I'm just gonna hit record, pick the snare, and then you see where the snares are. They're nudged forward. They were actually should have been here, but they're nudged forward. So the way I did that was I hit shift and I put the start. Don't put it that high. If you want it to go forward, then you go 5%. If you want to go behind the thing, then you go negative, right? So forward is this way, I believe. I hope I'm right. We'll find out right here, watch. No, forward is behind the line. All right, so thank you, self, for doing that. All right. So -5 puts it before. So if you hit that, it'll go before. Just to show you, here you go. See? It's gonna nudge it. Let's just make sure it's on. See that? Okay. So you can do that with the snare, and then you can maybe set the hi-hat to get the swing, set the hi-hat back. So here's the hi-hats, and just go in and do a -5, right? And it should push the hi-hat back and then cause it to sound like it's swinging. And then the sub-step stuff is if you want to do rolls and things of that nature. All right, so simple as that. So cutting chords out of songs gives you an opportunity if you don't play chords or all you have is koala and a sampler, and then you can use that, use the radio, pick off chords from different places that you hear, maybe that you like, and then put it together. And then I suggest picking those chords if you're not going to play them from the same song so that they have the same sound to them and they're a little more cohesive, like versus just randomly getting some anywhere. But listening to like these radio apps is to me the best solution, especially this one because there's stuff from every country, so you're not stuck in one place where one sound. Like if you try the OP1 field only has the radio stations that's local to where you're at that moment. So this is something to take you outside of just the local stuff. All right, and that is it for this video. Probably one of the shortest in recent times. Under 10 minutes, what do you know? All right, so there you go. Then you could add your other parts, your bass, your leads, whatever else you want to add. But I have to go, so that's the end of this video. All right.